Changes in the functioning of vessels as well as the heart rate affect the speed of the bloodstream, and hence the value of blood pressure. The pressure can be measured directly, which is usually the case within highly specialized hospital wards, or indirectly using a blood pressure cuff or sphygmomanometer. The cuff is usually placed on the arm and inflated with air under the control of the pulse below the cuff with a stethoscope. At the same time, the pressure inside the cuff is measured by a manometer connected to the cuff. The cuff grasping the arm is filled with air, which finally closes the blood flow through the artery, surrounded by the cuff. It is completed when the sound of the pulse below the cuff stops. Then, the air is gradually pushed away to the first beat of the pulse in the stethoscope. At this point, the pressure of blood driven by heart systoles is equal to the pressure within the cuff, and the first portion of blood comes through the gripped artery. It is heard as the tone of the pulse under the stethoscope. This is the systolic pressure. Then, the pulse disappears for a short period of heart diastole because the blood pressure decreases below that in the cuff. So, rhythmic systolic tones broken by diastolic periods of silence can be heard at this time. Further decrease of pressure in the cuff causes these rhythmic sounds to disappear finally. It is done when the pressure in the cuff is equal to that within the artery during diastole. From this point, the blood flow is continuous and stops to beat the arterial wall. Thus, it cannot be heard as rhythmic pulse tones under the stethoscope. The pressure in the manometer at the moment when the pulse disappears is the diastolic pressure. At your age, the normal systolic pressure is up to 120 millimeters of mercury, and normal diastolic pressure is up to 80 millimeters of mercury. At an older age, the normal values are a bit higher, being up to 140 millimeters of mercury in the case of systolic pressure, and up to 90 millimeters of mercury in the case of diastolic pressure. In remembrance of the designer of the sphygmomanometer, Italian physician Scipione Rivarocchi, blood pressure is written as RR, followed by the values. For example, RR 120/80.